Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Check, 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 check. Is this thing on?
First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All right. Getting this tech rolling right. Monday, October 20th, 2025.
That is the
Keeping
day.
track of days and time. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening right now, buddy. Got a little lag. We're working on a little what you call it, technical difficulties this morning, but that's because buddy's en route still traveling.
Yeah, man.
So gotta bear with us. Bear with us. We appreciate you guys joining us this morning. I see Majee Miller Jenkins in the chat saying good morning. Good morning to you. It's good to give you a hug the other day. That was great.
Yeah.
Pops says good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone. Mama God gives us a good morning, fam. What's up? What's up? What's up? Kimra Snipe says good morning. Hey, how you doing, Kimra? And Majee Miller Jenkins says so glad to have shared space and met both of y'all in person Saturday. Yeah. That was good, man. There's nothing like meeting face to face in person. I'll tell you what, nothing like it. Brother Mark Matter in the chat saying good morning. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Judy Prisoner saying Monday is here. Be present.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Like that. Like that. RG is up early. Says morning, y'all. Says there was a parking hack for the Fun Fest this weekend. If you parked in the garage, you know, you know. Yep. There was a hack. I wasn't allowed to say it to everybody, but figured y'all figure it out. I still sat behind somebody that was trying to pay while the arms up. I don't know what else to. I don't know.
Just drive through, man.
Just go. Marlon Harrison says, "Good morning, First Guy family. Happy motivational Monday. Appreciate you." Majee says, "Thought it was a scavenger hunt to find out how to get to the spot in the bank. Was a wild ride." Talking about our Fun Fest 2025. Yes, man, that was definitely part of the thing. If you hadn't been to the Omaha Press Club, then it's going to be a little bit of a scavenger hunt trying to find it. So now you know how to get in that mug, and you know, like I said, like I said that day, it feels a little bit like this place is exclusive, like they hide it from the public. You know, you ain't supposed to really be up in there. It is a club. You got to be a member.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things I wanted to make sure we got across this time around. And thank you for everybody that came for the First Guy Omaha Fun Fest 2025 fundraiser and celebration. Really appreciate everybody that showed up. It was awesome.
Man.
Can't say enough about it, and we know we're not gonna try to spend the whole show gushing, but the vibe, the response, the support, you guys, yeah, man, I really appreciate y'all.
Man, the love was felt. The love was felt big time, man. Thank you to everybody that came out, had a good time. I'm happy it was it seems like a lot of people's first time as well. So
A lot of people. So yeah, that like I said, I'm glad y'all found it. I'm sure there was some people still walking around the basement and stuff looking for it. But before we got over, Mark Matter says I drove out the one way in that garage. Yeah, man, that's the other thing. You got to navigate downtown, one way streets and everything else.
construction.
And oh man, don't even talk about the construction. And then of course, you know, the disrespectful DoubleTree with his back to the north side is also something that throws everybody off all the time. How you navigate around that.
Man.
Yeah, but so RG said Marlon was hitting in place. Boy, who are you talking about? Pot calling the kettle black. Y'all was the 2-plate crew coming in. Don't you calling Marlon now? Y'all did all right though. I appreciate that. Yeah, and Majee says that man, the vibes were top tier for real.
Hey.
It's only gonna get better. You know, I used to throw events for a living. I'm really out of practice, but you know, one thing that remains is trying to have a good vibe in a spot. Invite the right folks. Make sure that we all are meeting each other, talking to each other, making introductions, all that good stuff. And that's exactly what happened. I felt like you guys got into a room with a nice group of people, and I just really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that came, showed up, participated. There was a lot of celebrations that went on this weekend. Ours was one of them. Shout out to Mark Manor who threw this picture up, man.
Man,
Feeling John Houston's presence in the room, it was really important for us to make sure that we put together a award in his honor. So I appreciate these photos, Mark, because I forgot to even take them myself.
man,
We were able to give the John Houston Award for Strategic Communication away to Brother Sherman Wells. And we really feel good about that. I'm glad that we get to honor Brother Houston. Would not be a First Sky Omaha and everything else if it wasn't for him, man. He was
man.
instrumental in all these things. Noise, everything that's going on. Omaha Star, bailing Omaha Star out at one point. John Houston was the man. Those of you know, but one of these days we're gonna have to really break down documentary film or something on all the stuff he did for Omaha in a big way.
Real powerhouse.
Real powerhouse. So before we get too much farther into it, man, just want to check in with you, buddy. I appreciate you makeshifting your situation today en route.
Yeah, man.
How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Let me know how's it sounding. Of course, everybody in the chat. Hi, good morning. Big shout out again to those who came through and celebrated with us. And next time for those who didn't get to make it, I see you, Kimra. She says I really hate I missed it. I definitely represented First Sky at the TSU homecoming though. So okay, represent. Appreciate that. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Of course, I'll be right after the show doing the same thing on Friday, hopping back to Atlanta. So again, appreciate being able to live alive with all of you, see some new faces and see some old faces as well. And yeah, feeling good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling really high still from the event. When I think about the reason why we're doing this and just building this community and the community that we've built, just it's incredible. It's incredible. When people get together, they can really do anything. So I got that. First things first. Always build a community, and that's what I feel like we got, man. So it's
Man,
like you said, time for some action, like you said on the podium. So
hey,
yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that, and I'm feeling all you. Really appreciate you guys coming. There was a weekend long. There were celebrations going all around, man. Shout out to Marlon Harrison, who was man about town over at the celebration where they honored Sister Tamika Renee, and he got some photos and some stuff like that too. So shout out to Marlon Harrison, who's turning out to be the First Guy Omaha man about town out there
hey,
with his camera. Appreciate that very much. Some other people were out there shooting as well, but shout out to Tamika Renee, who got honored that day, and you see John Mary Ewing there. So yeah, there was a good turnout. I'm glad they were able to celebrate her as well. And then also our event was up against the Exarban event, which
man,
I worked really hard months ago to try to find a date that didn't clash with everything, and Exarban Ball was just not on my radar
man.
for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, this is what we was competing with over the weekend. So it went down, and there was a lot of people there at the ball. Of course, shout out to Precious McKesson and her daughter, who was representing there too. I saw some pictures of her daughter there on stage walking. So not really sure all that goes on with this. Is some very what do you want to call it, high society type of things that happen here at the
Yeah,
Exarban Ball. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. One of our team members over here on First Guy grew up going to these and was just like, yeah, no, I'm glad we had ours on the same day.
Man, I mean, I was in a botellion. Those are fun, but at the same time, yeah, looked a little too highfalutin for my taste, just personally.
Brother Barney got and his wife Yolanda were recognized at the Court of Honor Award at the Exarban Ball. So while we're giving away our award for consolidate, what's our word called, the
The one that
coalition
Willie, yep,
yeah,
coalition building.
coalition building award. He was over here getting recognized Court of Honor Award. So a couple of awards he got that night, and that's what's
Mm-hmm.
up, man. Shout out to Willie Barney Empowerment Network, all the work that they're doing. His wife Yolanda as well. So yeah, a lot. It was kind of a weekend of celebrations just all the way around, and I'm glad we got to be a part of it this time around. So yeah, so be looking at it. We're gonna be doing it, man. I think we locked in on a design that represents what we are trying to do, and look for it next year. That's all
Oh
I
yeah,
got to say.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Shine bright. You guys are shining bright. I appreciate everybody. Pop says everything looks and sounds great. Thank you, Pops. Appreciate that. Christy Nord gives us a good morning. She showed up that night as well. Appreciate you, and I can't
Hey,
wait for you to start your campaign off as well. You know we got your back, and I really appreciate that. Also, Mark Manor said it used to be creepy. Okay, so we're talking about the exorbitant ball. Yeah.
hmm.
Okay. Well, she said that's a word for it. Uh,
Trying to be nice. Trying to be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. It looks like a cotillion. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Cotillion, botillions. That wasn't my world growing up. Now, apparently, I had family members. My grandparents and stuff were king and queens or something and stuff like that. Back, I never got. I just saw pictures and never really got any of the story because that wasn't in our in my upbringing. But yeah, I always thought it was really kind of it was. I'm glad it's. I think being black means that I'm split view. I'm glad that we have things that we can express our accomplishments and achievements in the equal setting as everybody else in this society. But I also feel like it's a little bit of what I don't even know how to explain it. Just from an outsider perspective, I got questions. I'll just leave it at that. Mark Manor said
Well,
it used to be old rich men paired up with young women. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where does it come from? Is the question. So yeah, not sure, not sure. But anyway, moving on. Kimber Snipe says, "Congratulations to Sherman. Who else are we congratulating? I believe Senator McKinney. Senator McKinney won the political power political power award. So yes. Also, let me see if I can remember from off top. Brother Kasim, he won an award for Boost to the Roots.
hmm.
Sister Jewel Rogers won for The Love Supreme. Uh, I ain't fully awake yet. Cup of Joe, Cup of Joe. Uh,
Brother
how
Willie Barney.
you?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm I'm
waiting
saying,
on me to fall
yeah,
first. Okay, I see how you do. He
yeah, brother
agrees to
Willie.
forget the handoff. Let him go ahead and dribble outside, and then I'll just pick it up. Go ahead, on buddy.
Brother Willie Barney, yes, for again the coalition building award. Also, Brother Sherman Wells,
Mhm,
Senator Terrell McKinney, also former Senator Justin Wayne for the political power. No, not political power. The money,
mhm,
uh, financial award,
mhm, mhm, mhm.
and I think that's it. It's seven. I think that's it.
7, yeah, yep. And then we had a lot of accolades that we laid on everybody too that was there. And shout out to Bart Vargas who showed up and then posted later on. Man, he said he felt honored that he was among some people that got accolades from us. But we're honored that you were there and that you do the work you do. So all the way around, man. It's kind of our style to be appreciative and to want to really big up the people that are doing the work, and that's what we got a chance to do on a big level the other day. So like I said, we're not going to spend all of the show talking about it, but I do want to acknowledge that how grateful I am that everybody participated in all the work that everybody's doing, man, that we got a chance to really kind of honor that. So with that, that's about it, man. I'm going to jump into a little bit of the community updates. We kind of already talked about what went down. If you went to any of these other events, let us know. Like I said, shout out to Marlon Harrison, who's like first guy Omaha man on the street out here who went to Sister Tamika Renee's honoring, and I really appreciate that as well. So there you go. Also, shout out to Empowerment Network, who's gonna be putting on the African American Leadership Conference again, and Revive Black Business Expo. Dreams and Visions is the theme. This is happening Friday, October 24th. So this is coming up about 4 days. Highly suggest you hit that QR code or register at AALCO. I'm sorry, AALCOmaha.com. Register there and definitely go check out what they're doing over there at the Empowerment Network. This is a great event to go to each year to really kind of get inspired about making some change in Omaha, and also rub some elbows with some people that are actually doing that in the network. You can say what you want about the Empowerment Network, but one thing they're doing is some serious coalition building with other organizations and individuals to make some change in Omaha. So shout out to them for the work they're doing. Highly suggest you go to these annual events so you can kind of be a part of what's happening and see what's going on as well. Big time, big time. Also, this is happening October 23rd. This is the town hall that the what's the organization? The redress movement is putting on for about tenant power, legal power. This town hall is brought to you by the Redress Movement in Heartland Worker Center, featuring Senator Terrell McKinney and Legal Aid of Nebraska. They're going to have a town hall and talk a little bit more about tenants' rights and everything else that surrounds the power that tenants are supposed to be having over where they live, where we live. So shout out to the Redress Movement for all the work they're doing. I highly suggest you dig into the Redress Movement. Shout out to Clarice Dombeck, who introduced it to us, and definitely see the kind of work they're doing because it's growing in power as well. So that's some of the things that are going on as far as the community is concerned. We'll address some more a little bit later on in the show. And of course, if you have anything that's going on this week that you think we need to be looking into, really, really appreciate you putting that in the chat and putting that in Friends of First Sky Omaha so we can make sure that we can spread the word on those things as well. With that said, I'm going to go hand it over to Buddy to talk a little bit about what today's thread is going to be. Hang in there. Do us a favor. Share the show. If you're on Facebook, especially, it's easy to share the show on your page, and it's easier to share the link from YouTube as well. Like and subscribe while you're over there. Let's get as many people in the conversation as we can today as we jump into today's thread. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, well, first, start off with a little couple loose thread stories, if you will, a couple stories hanging loose, but definitely want to let the people know about, especially a situation going on with brother Ricky Smith. Man, this is something that I'm just now learning about as far as what exactly is happening. But it sounds like an alarm is being rung with this situation. Again, brother Ricky Smith dealing with sepsis, and if you don't know what that is, we'll talk about it. And yeah, a few people showing some concern about this situation. Also, moving forward, speaking of concern, I know we've talked about concern on judges. Again, it is an election season coming up within a few months. And we don't really talk about judges running for office, judges being appointed, judges running, and who names I'm not even familiar. But again, definitely want to talk about these two candidates that are being put forward for the Nebraska Supreme Court, especially in this era of Trump. We're seeing how courts are either supporting the nonsense or helping combat the nonsense. And yeah, still paying attention. What's going on with the judicial branch? Again, two Supreme Court judges being put forward. Definitely want to talk about that. And then also, speaking of investigations, courts, there is an investigation going on after a preschool child brought a gun to a Nebraska school. And this is definitely, in my eyes, a continuation of conversations we've been having with Senator Terrell McKinney, who we are expecting to come through today as a part of our Senator Cypher. Again, Terrell McKinney, although I believe he mentioned that he did actually not vote for the bill itself, but did vocalize support for the recent changes in gun laws in Nebraska. So again, want to continue that conversation and other things with brother Senator Terrell McKinney when he comes on a little later on for our Senator Cypher. But also happening today, of course, the No Kings rally went down over the weekend. Did anybody make it? Let us know if you went out there, if you touched the base, how you feel about that. There's actually a lot of conversation circling around on social media about the No Kings rally. Some people saying that it was just all pomp and circumstance. It was all just a show. No real demands were made, at least in some areas, because we definitely have to talk about the call from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson calling for a general strike. This is something that a few of you chat chimers have actually mentioned. So I want to, hear your voices, hear your opinions on this idea of a general strike. Again, calling for everybody to walk off and allow these ultra rich, if you will, to feel the pressure. But not just stopping there, looking at the complete fallout and impact of some of these recent Trump decisions and just political pressure on companies, namely NBC, who has now reportedly axed their diversity teams, the Black, Latino, Asian, and LGBTQ plus. So again, seemingly just continuing to fold under the pressure from the Trump regime, if you will, which we haven't really talked about it too much on the show, but I've heard some conversation about how they're again talked about the courts using libel and using kind of how some of the laws are changing under the Trump regime to move forward with some of these lawsuits that we're seeing against New York Times, NBC, ABC, and several others. So very very tight situation for those trying to have their voices heard, trying to again flex the freedom of speech, but telling the truth is gangster. So we're gonna stand up and we're gonna speak out, and hopefully you do the same. So in the meantime, between time, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. Paul B,
Yo, yo.
what's the word?
Man, appreciate everybody that's joining us this morning. I see Linda in the chat saying good morning. Appreciate that. Marlon is saying also two people first Sky Omaha guest might be the next president of the Native Omaha Club. Teasing us with some things. Appreciate y'all. Also, Majid Miller Jenkins in the chat says events like that fly in the face of liberation work. Those two don't live in the same world. Talking about Exarban Ball, I think you're talking about in our event. We'll see. Also, let's see. Native Omaha Club has its membership drive on Friday. Shout out to Marlon Harrison for giving us some information there on that. It was good. It was a good turnout, and they are still looking for more men. Okay. Well,
Nice.
good to hear. Good to hear. Appreciate everybody in the comments. We'll get back to the comments. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright is here this morning. Also, Wanda Lewis, I'm seeing in the chat. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright says you only get what you're organized to take. He says the No Kings was acute catharsis, but nothing to do with liberation or defeating not just Trump, but more importantly, Trumpism. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about it for sure. Also, Majid Miller Jenkins says there is no organization inside 50501, at least from what I've seen. It's a social media push come to life built by internet warriors with good intentions, but no plan. And I think that no plan part is what a lot of the organizations that are doing anything, that's starting to be the complaint. We're trying to see what's the plan here. We're doing all this action, but what we doing? So we'll definitely talk about it. We'll jump into the conversation here when we come back from the break. 7:22 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, and if you live in Omaha, Nebraska. And we appreciate everybody who's joined us today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's buddy to God. Welcome back for Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. What did that track sound okay? Is the bass coming through on that track?
Yeah.
The bass is thundering in my headphones. I'm like, I hope they're feeling that bass like I'm feeling it.
Slap at the bass.
What's up, bassist? I see Anthony Rogers right in the chat. What's going on? How's the bass sound on that track? Let me know. Pops in the chat says yes. Is only the lower court judges across the nation that are preventing Trump from 100% dictatorship. They are the only real guardrails. You're talking about judges, man, in a big way. 7 million people estimated came out for the No Kings rally in this country. How much of that is going to make a difference compared to what the lower court judges are doing? And do we need both? Do we need all of it? What do we need? I guess we'll jump in. Chat's going off. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch up to you in a minute, buddy. How are we starting this thing off?
Yeah, we'll catch up to the chat in a second. I actually wanted to start off with the sepsis story, something that's just kind of been bubbling in the community. Of course, heard about Brother Ricky Smith being in the hospital recently. And yeah, man, just wanted to open this up and kind of lay the foundation, especially just the tensions and how things are going in this nation. We can disagree with somebody's politics. We can disagree with the decisions they make, or just at least just be skeptical about some of the things that they do. But you never want to see this happen to anybody, man. So prayers going out to Brother Ricky Smith, and kind of a warning to all of us, man. Sepsis is the cause of this, and there are some warning signs and some question marks around this situation, especially with healthcare being the main reason the government is shut down. Last thing we need is another pandemic. So
Mm.
again, eyebrows are raising with this story. Again, brother Ricky Smith, who apparently started this journey, if you will, after being diagnosed with sepsis a month and a half ago. After he was in California, he received a severe infection that can cause apparently organ failure and death if not treated quickly. Talking about sepsis, he says, I guess it hits people unexpectedly. There were so many different pockets of toxic things in my body." Again, Smith said friends describe Smith as a devoted family man. Of course, we all know the brother from the community, but this situation is definitely alarming. He says it's just been a whole ordeal. Again, I never thought it would have attacked my body like this. But the big thing is that the doctors don't know what triggered it. Again, sepsis develops from untreated infections. And again, in this case, doctors don't know what triggered it. Medical experts in Omaha say early recognition and treatment are crucial. But again, definitely wishing for a speedy recovery for brother Smith. Paul, I know you mentioned that this is something that can kill. This is something that is deadly. This isn't just necessarily a flu. I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but definitely prayers up and wishing for speedy recovery for brother Smith.
Yeah, man. Hitting close to home. I'm actually feeling very emotional right now about it. I lost my best friend, Brett Campbell's, to sepsis. She went in for an operation. The hospital messed up something, left an infection that got inside of her and turned into sepsis. And that was one of the hardest uh, periods of time that I've probably one of the things I've ever experienced because they basically sepsis started making it so that her organs started shutting down, and when her organs started shutting down, then they things started happening like no blood flow to extremities. And so we went through this whole week of she's hanging on, but she's going to have a leg amputated. She's hanging on, but both legs are going to have to get amputated. She's hanging on, but both legs and an arm's going to get amputated. And then the infection spread, and she ended up passing away before any of that could happen. But um, it's taking me back to that week of all the shutdowns that happens in the body when that happens, and then she ended up passing away. So yeah, sepsis, one of them words hard for me to hear. So when I realized that this is the reason why he was in the hospital, and also being in the hospitals, brother Ricky Smith being in the hospital out of town too, being in the hospital
Man,
like traveling somewhere else out in L.A. Tough. So the family was really kind of calling for some help to help him with medical bills, help him with travel to get back, help him with everything he needs to try to hang on. Yeah, that's kind of the thing I get from that. It's interesting that you were bringing up this morning, not knowing what sepsis was, and kind of something about it made you dig in to find out what was happening here. We had already mentioned that brother Ricky Smith was in the hospital out in L.A. and that people were trying to help him there. But interesting to find out, him sharing that information about what his condition is, and then us knowing about it or learning about it is taking it to the next level. Uh, can't imagine what the family's going through. So
yeah, man.
I think he might be a little bit better shape than I was. I don't want to scare anybody that was other circumstances was surrounding what happened to my friend. But sepsis is no joke. It's basically when an infection gets in the blood and just kind of travels through your whole body and other things like that. So it's a tough thing to have to deal with, and I hope for speedy recovery for the brother. And
Hmm.
we'll go ahead and put that GoFundMe in the chat as well. This is the GoFundMe link if you want to try to help see what's going on there, man. Yeah. Oh, Kimmer says thankfully he has a sister who lives in L.A. as well, so at least he got some
Right,
family in town. Yep,
man.
yep. Wanda Lewis says sepsis is on the rise. I've known several people affected by this, and it sometimes takes a long time to be diagnosed. Man, Mama Guy in the chat said husband had it. He was hospitalized for months, rehab for months. After that, it was very bad. Wow.
Yeah. And again, what kind of caught my attention, an ex-girlfriend of mine actually just lost her mom. And from what I've seen, again, I don't know the cause, but from what I've seen, it was very rapid, very unexpected. very sudden, which is kind of the case for this sepsis. Again, according to the article, it says even the healthiest people, this is according to Dr. Jasmine Marcelin at UNMC. She says even the healthiest people without medical histories can have issues with sepsis. And one of the things that is really important is understanding early signs. So again, and I will also, remind people that this is happening while the government is shut down on healthcare. So yeah, and we're getting in the flu season, we're getting in cold season. COVID is still a thing. So again, be careful, be vigilant, be mindful, and let's take care of each other, which is kind of the thread of the day as far as mutual aid. Man, we have to look out for each other. Obviously, things aren't going in the direction of the government and our dollars going towards the our care. So again, we have to look out for each other, which is something that we will continue to talk about throughout today.
Most deaf. Pops in the chat says, yes, I was under the impression that most sepsis comes as a result of having an operation in hospitals. A lot of it does, a lot of it
Yep,
doesn't. Basically, it's just an infection, and you can have things eat away at your organs, and then waste in your body travels to other organs, and that's really how that happens. And it happens a lot more when there's an operation or you're getting cut on or whatever. So that's a lot of the reason why it happens a lot there. But yeah, obviously it can happen other ways too. Jumping on the bandwagon here, talking about the healthcare. I appreciate everybody's comments here. Anthony Rogers Wright said healthcare should not be attached to your occupation. If you're lucky enough to have one, healthcare should be connected to the fact that you are your area living and breathing human. You are a living and breathing human for sure. Majee Miller Jenkins says healthcare is a human right, and we are at the bottom of the list for national healthcare because our country does not value us as humans, but property to be exploited.
pretty much.
For real, for real. Also, United States healthcare is death work. They only treat the symptoms, not the human. They also are invested in our illness because insurance runs healthcare here.
Yep,
Ooh-wee. Majee says mutual aid is liberation work.
man.
Appreciate you. We were just talking about you, the conversation you guys had at the Fun Fest about it, and yeah, we absolutely want to talk more about that. I'm glad that you're on that with us. So yeah, we'll definitely talk more about mutual aid. What we can do. I like, buddy, what you were saying before the show about mutual aid when it comes to strategic communication
Yeah,
and
man.
how it is that is hand in hand. I like what you said about it. Got me thinking about it this show too. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. What do you want to run into next? I don't want to set you up with the wrong thing if you got something on deck already.
Yeah, going a little different direction, man. Talking about one illness, moving from one illness, talking about sepsis to another, talking about Trumpism and how courts can battle this. Again, this is something that we should all be paying attention to, especially as we prepare to make our way to the ballot box next year. And again, seeing obviously the role that courts can play in this. Of course, we can do what we can on the ground level to help each other, to mutual aid, share sugar, share resources, and things like that. But let's be honest, the courts at some point are going to have to play a role and step up and do their job, and that depends on us getting the right people in position and at least holding those that are in position accountable. So again, two names to look out for. This is coming from WOWT. These people are being presented or pushed forward as the next members of the Nebraska Supreme Court, and they are from Omaha. The Judicial Nominating Commission advanced Patrick Goonan and Derek Vaughn, both of Omaha, as the top candidates to fill the vacancy in the state's highest court. Governor Jim Pillen will make the final choice, of course, but the vacancy comes as Justice Lindsay Miller Lerman is set to retire at the end of this month. She has served in her seat since 1998. So again, this is some of the longest lasting seats you'll see in our state. And although Governor Pillen will make the final decision, I think it is incumbent upon us to at least do the research, look into the names, know who we're dealing with, know what we're dealing with, and again hold the powers that be to account.
There you go. It's interesting. One post that was in Friends of First Sky Omaha was from Samar Atkins that said it should be strong lobbying for the brother to get chosen for this Nebraska Supreme Court position. I wonder if this brother's black. So one of the names on there, we're going to be looking up everybody anyway. But
Word.
yeah, but yeah, I appreciate that too. If there's some representation in there on the court, even better. We'll see.
Man, and yeah, does anybody know about Derek Vaughn or Patrick Greenan? Let us know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna find out for sure.
Man,
Yep.
man. But Moving along, man. Moving from the courts to an investigation that is underway. This being reported by KMTV3. Apparently, a child brought a loaded handgun to a Northwest Omaha preschool during a show and share, prompting an investigation by the child care center and police. Luckily, no one was injured during the incident. According to an update sent to families, the child had the handgun in their bag and carried it to the carpet area at Cadence Academy near 176th and Maple Streets. A statement from the center says the teacher immediately placed the weapon in a tote bag, removed the child from the area, and notified the front office, where managers alerted law enforcement. Again, the child will not return to school until the investigation is complete. The school did praise the teacher's response to the situation, but again, here we are: school, a gun, a child. We'll definitely continue this conversation with Senator Terrell McKinney. And of course, we didn't really talk about it last week, but the shooting that involved Omaha police in West Omaha as well. Again, gun control in the community is an ongoing conversation, something we need to stay on top of and have our own conversations and understand that narratives are being threaded, narratives are being written. In the same time, again, they're trying to lock up 12-year-olds. They're trying to expel preschoolers. They're trying to, again, advance this police state. And we can't let them. So, again, we'll dive into this. We'll speak to Senator Terrell McKinney a little later on. But if you have any thoughts on that, feel free to let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B. We'll say you.
Yo, yeah. Just thinking about this kid. The article say they arrested the kid or anything, or they just what happened? What happened with the?
Well, yeah, the kid is basically on suspension. The kid will not return to school until the investigation is complete. But no charges or anything has been presented.
How old is this child?
Preschool, four,
Mm,
4 or 5 years old.
mm. Yeah, these are my thoughts too. Majee Miller Jenkins says, "How the child have access to the gun?" Oh wait, LB 77 remove city rights to require safe storage laws. Yeah, we forget about that part of LB 77, removing safe storage laws that were required before. But my first thought is the parents, how do they let the kid have access?
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, that's really all there is to it. So we'll see what's going on. We appreciate everybody who thoughts go out to the family there, and the kid, man. The kid is going to bring something to show and tell that he's interested in. So it's sad, it's messed up, and I'm just really glad nobody got hurt. But I'm sure it ain't the first time a kid brought a gun to school for show and tell. So what do you do? All right, yeah, we'll move on from that. We appreciate everybody whose comments. She said the child didn't buy that gun. They have access without neglectful adult. Kid getting suspended. What happened to the adults that let that go down? I hate to, everybody jumps on me when I start saying, what about the parents?
Man,
They're like, well, parents can't control everything the kids, and well, I don't know. I would have never. Nobody in my family would have accidentally brought a gun to school like that. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's take a quick break and we'll jump in and smell the coffee beans a little bit and come back and jump into a little bit more discussion on some other topics. Stay tuned. Once again, you're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's buddy to Gawd. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all.
They, the establishment, intend to play the role that Germans play. We have to show them by our actions that we do not intend to play the role that the Jews play. They're a bunch of megalomaniac warmongers.
Welcome back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, buddy to Gawd. All of you,
Hey.
Chad Chambers. Ghost listeners and monitoring spirits, thank you for joining us on this. What is it? Monday, the 20th of October. Already coming up on November, man.
Man.
And let me tell you, if you're out here, I know you got your heat on already. It's dipping down into the, the late 30s, early 40s. In this,
Brr.
it's getting a little chilly out. It's getting a
Man.
little chilly out for sure. Breaking out the house shoes. Gotta, test it out, see what's happening. So, yeah, help your family out. I already had to go over and try to help somebody take a look at their filter. It says they fired it up. They were smelling something funny. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, get your heat on, get your heat working. But appreciate everybody that came back. Also, just to let everybody know who's just joining us, we did have our first or inaugural First Sky Omaha Fun Fest 2025 over the weekend, and really want to shout out everybody who came through. Just really appreciate everybody who did. Appreciated having a chance to celebrate people that are in this field doing the work. The 7 awards kind of align with the 7 lanes of change, which is a series that we're working on, a video series that we're working on. So definitely go check that out over on YouTube. The latest one is a little bit of more of a conversation with Mary Ewing, and we'll be dropping another one here pretty soon on some more of that conversation and some more individuals in the community that we're talking to about certain lanes as well. And hopefully my plan is to have on everybody who we gave an award to come on the show and kind of talk a little bit about what they do and what their lane is too. So if you didn't make it, then we highly encourage you put it on your schedule next year. We're actually going to have a meeting about it here in the next week in order for us to go ahead and plan the whole year in advance and kind of lock a date down so we can start getting the word out a little bit earlier and make this a thing. But when it's all said and done, not saying we're going to be as big as the Exarban Ball, but we're going to be big,
Man.
in our way. We're going to do the thing. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic that's happening, buddy. What you over there contemplating? I see your wheels turning. What you got going?
Yeah, just making sure the stories are lining up and listening to the conversation. And we're in it now, so I'm just trying to let the conversation dictate where we go next. And I'll start with yesterday. Speaking of the Fun Fest, while the Fun Fest was going on, before the Fun Fest, of course, was the No Kings rally. Again, Omaha was not alone. Millions and millions of people the world over stepped outside and what they call protested. I don't know. We could talk about whether we're going to call it a protest here on the show. But again, thousands are speaking up and speaking out and showing that they do not support what is going on with the Trump situation. Of course, there are many different layers to peel back from this, but I think the first thing I want to talk about is just the fact that everybody's feeling the impact. Everybody's feeling the pressure, and this will continue, especially as this government shutdown goes on. It is quite interesting that just I guess the same day, I'm not sure if this happened the same day or the next day, but while we're celebrating the news gangs, truth warriors, those who are speaking out and having their voices heard, NBC is letting go swarms of again thousands actually of reporters and employees. This is coming from several outlets, but the article I have here is from The Source. A headline reads, NBC News reportedly axes diversity teams covering Black, Latino, Asian American, and LGBTQ plus communities. Again, while this is not a surprise, we see where this is going. So again, to juxtapose this all happening as far as the No Kings rally, these mass firings, of course, undoubtedly as a result of pressure from the Trump regime, if you will, we're honoring and recognizing Newsgain and the work that we're doing, which again hammers the point home, man. Shout out to Maggie Miller Jenkins, kind of bringing the idea, the concept, the phrase of mutual aid to our attention. And when we think about what it is that we're doing here, the work that individuals that we celebrated last night or yesterday, the work that they're doing, again, recognizing it's in a sense, it's all mutual aid. Again, we've seen this kind of writing on the wall, if you will, from NBC major affiliates. Of course, we all know what the deal is with Channel 7 here and their echo chamber chat and just, kind of the reporting that comes from those. And again, with this latest with this latest firings or layoffs or whatever you want to call it from NBC, again hammering home the more so the importance of what it is that we're doing, and kind of shining the light that the fact is mutual aid is the only way that we are going to get through this. And if you don't again see exactly what we're talking about, First Guy Omaha is a mutual aid endeavor. Again, this is something that we've built, but we are wholeheartedly teaming up and sharing resources with community partners, with community individuals to make this whole thing better as far as the sharing of information for all of us. Um, so again, we're going to continue talking about that as we reach this new level on this show, not just talking about the issues, but also talking about solutions, talking about how we can all come together in our lanes to make the change that we want to make. So again, Paul, what say you?
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate that concept. When we talk about mutual aid, we think even on the grassroots level. Before the show, Buddy was saying we've been doing this. We've been
Yeah.
going to the neighbors, and neighbors babysit the kid while you can finish work, and borrow a cup of sugar, and rent parties and everything that we do. We've been doing our people been doing this, taking care of each other this way. And on those levels, and there's some higher levels, and even still that we can get to when it comes to that concept of mutual aid, and then also to pair it with what it is that we're doing. We're not just out here disseminating information; we're actually having conversations with you in the community, getting information from you in the community, sharing information with you in the community. We all together are coming up with the information that we need in order to make change and do things, and we're doing it in this way where we're just helping each other do that. So mutual aid and strategic communication is super interesting, and it does really define the reason why we do what we do here on the show. So we say it all the time. We can't do it without you guys. You guys are the co-hosts, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, and that is the sharing of information. So we're going to go ahead and move on from this conversation. We'll come back to it for sure. We have our special guest waiting in the wings. We're going to go ahead and bring him in. Kind of want to know how he feels about the No Kings March as well, because I've been hearing a lot. We've been hearing a lot from our alternative news sources about
Man.
exactly what this is, and you guys are saying it in the chat. We'll talk about it. But first, we're going to go ahead and introduce Senator Terrell McKinney. Man, what's
Hey,
going on, brother?
not much, man. How y'all doing?
I'm
Doing
doing
all
good.
right.
Good to see you, man. This is
Yeah,
the recent recipient of the Political Power for Change Award,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Omaha. I appreciate you coming to the award show too, man. In our celebration that we had the other day, I really appreciate you being there, and
No problem.
appreciate you being here this morning. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, bro. Just tired of traffic in Omaha, but I'm great.
Man.
Yeah, seemed like they were trying to do construction all at once everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Movie.
Been seeing that. We gotta make some phone calls, make some complaints. But again, thank you for joining us this morning. I guess we'll just kick off, man. What's top of your mind? What's been going on?
Man, a lot has just been going on. Last week, multiple things. OPPD pulling the vote for the coal plant off the agenda for the labor contracts to continue the transition of the coal plant because of the lawsuit filed by Attorney General Hilders. We also got a copy of like the contract for the work ethic camp between the Department of Corrections and the Homeland Security. We don't got the clean copy though, because the one that they released has some redactions in it. So we're trying to get a copy of like the real copy without the redaction. So we'll see how that happens. What else happened last week?
Man, a
And
lot.
those rallies, it's just too much going on at this time.
Man, did you make it out to any of the rallies, or kind of what are your thoughts on that?
No, I didn't make it out. I think I got invited to talk or something. They tried to get me to come talk. Me personally, I really wasn't feeling it, to be
Hmm.
honest. I just don't know what the purpose was for them, honestly.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, although America doesn't have kings, it still has racism, it still has oppression. It
Hmm.
it still enslaved Africans. It still overly incarcerates black people. I could go down a list, So I ain't. I mean, with or without a king, you don't eliminate, racist people in America. So I don't know. That's just me. And for me, it's also, I ain't knocking people rallying and protesting what they feel is wrong, because I think everybody has the right to do that, and I think you should do it if you feel that way. It's just, what is the goal? What are we attempting to change? That's my biggest thing. Like, what's the next step to this? So I love to see that.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because we've been calling it the No Kings protests, and what I'm understanding is that it's really not. It really wasn't a protest. It was a rally. It was a party. It was everything, but and it was kind of a pressure release, is what I'm understanding too, because of the simple fact that there was no demands. So, to me, a protest has to do with you gonna make some demands, and you're gonna go out and you're gonna protest that, and you got to hold the people's feet to the fire on these demands, or else you'll protest, or else you'll boycott, or else you'll do some things. So when there's no demands made by any particular group, then it's really just a kind of a show of support, a pressure release, and I feel like that's what it is. So what you're intrinsically talking about right now, like what you felt, what your intuition was like, yeah, well, yeah, I'm not gonna go speak. What's this for? Is right along the lines of that. It wasn't really for any kind of real change. So, I feel the same way. Don't knock people that wanted to go out and rally. It's good to see 7 million people around the country that are voicing their opinion that what's going on ain't cool. But do we want to expend that energy, or do we want to put that energy in making some actual change happen? So. Yeah. So with that said, with everything that we have been talking about, especially with our current administration and things that are going on, what are some things that are going on right now, especially from a person who is in political power and is trying to make change through political power? What are some of the really action items that are actually happening, that are not just displays, but efforts into making some change on some of the things that are really weighing on us here in Omaha, especially?
Actionable things that are going on currently. I mean, I'm doing a lot, I guess. Trying to get people to understand what's going on with OPPD, and trying to, get them to do the right thing. Also still working to try to figure out what's going on with this ICE detention facility, and trying to, now I think the next step, now that the contract is out, is trying to get the Judiciary Committee to hold a hearing, and so we could get some better answers around it. So this week, that's what we'll be pushing for, is try to get some more answers, because there's still a lot not being said about that. What else? I mean, I got the town hall with Clarice this week with the tenants' rights for individuals in the OHA towers. So that I mean, it's different things. Tomorrow, what else is going on? We're having a meeting with some of the some of the grantees from the NSORC, the North South Omaha grant, to try to get an understanding of what's going on with that. And the purpose of that is to one, get a better understanding where everybody's at as far as like project timeline, but two, get people to understand the importance of making sure like they're doing the right thing as far as these projects, things are moving along. Primarily because I truly believe that the legislature is going to start coming after people, or like at the end of it, it's definitely getting audited. So just making sure everybody, got all their ducks in a row, and everything's cool. It's not to try to like bash anybody or nothing like that. It's really just trying to make sure everybody understand the importance of doing the right thing, making sure we're moving in the right direction, showing progress, so we can next year, if they do try to come after some of that money, we could show like, nah, these projects are moving along, people are doing the right things. So that's going on. It's a bunch, man.
Wow, man. That's interesting. You're talking about that, the North and South recovery funds there, and just we definitely been going through that ourselves. We're trying to work with the DED on making sure that all the ducks in a row and everything is cool too. So I appreciate you guys checking in on that. There's some other organizations like Julian Young and Associates. They were helping people make sure that their things were on track? Any other organizations out there like that are offering services to people to make sure that their project's on track?
Not that I know of.
Really, just Julian Young and them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we appreciate you having this town hall to help that situation as well. I always think about whether or not anybody's going to go for any other money, any other millions of dollars coming into North Omaha in the future, and how if we don't act right with this situation, that's going to be it's already hard. It's already tough to do in the first place, but we can make it worse if we're not acting right. So,
Yep.
any plans in the future for any of those things? And we talked about this like maybe last year, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, ain't no plans. I mean, especially now because our state is in a budget deficit, so it's kind of hard to go after dollars. What's going on in the feds? Ain't no money coming down. They pulling money from states. So currently, no. But keep your fingers crossed that the financial situation changes and we can go after some more resources, because although we got whatever we got, I never felt like it was enough. It was just, to me, a start. So hopefully, some more could come.
yeah.
Any
And I think we take that as a learning lesson too. We could learn from it whenever there is a next time. Take the lessons from this and try to be better next time.
definitely. Any sentiment or any feeling that the Trump administration might look back at how those funds were spent and dispersed to states, and kind of look through that with a more fine tooth comb, especially with Democratic,
I
policies
mean,
and
possibly, but I guess I don't think the North South Omaha grant would be affected because that's not using federal dollars.
Okay.
The only thing that I think, like, if anything, they look at that I think is federal dollars. Maybe I'm wrong, actually. Maybe the sports complex is from federal. Majority is federal dollars. Trying to remember the airport, the business park and innovation district. They might be. I can't remember correctly. Yeah, they are. I think they both are from federal dollars too. So I mean, everything is under a microscope right now. So I don't put it past them looking. I think everything's been going how they supposed to. So I ain't too much worried about it, and ain't no honestly realistic dollars been spent anyway. So it ain't too much.
Right.
That part is a whole nother conversation. But I did want to jump into the Cornhusker clink of it all. That is some pretty big news. The fact that y'all did finally get the contract, even though it is redacted. I am kind of curious as far as that contract. What are some of the questions that you have that are unanswered, and what exactly are you looking for in the contract?
It's a lot of language in there around DHS or Homeland Security having control of it, limiting access to information, limiting access to just the facility in itself, how processes are working, or as far as like understanding who's there. They're gonna mix men and women. It's a lot, man. Because every time I look at it, it's like, this is crazy. And then it's also, as senators and under the Nebraska Constitution, we have oversight of penal institutions. So it's really unconstitutional for the governor to give over any type of control of the facility, but they're saying the Department of Corrections is going to operate it, and it's super messy. Although horrible and bad, it's those questions like, how's this going to actually work in practice? How are you going to manage it? But Homeland Security kind of oversees it, and it's an issue.
Yeah. Okay. And beyond that, there's also conversations about Douglas County now, possibly, opening its or using its county facility for that. Of course, there's been some back and forth. I think Commissioner Roger Garcia said that they're not really considering it, but now there's some movement with the leadership at LULAC and more questions than answers. But I am curious, have you heard of, again, Douglas County is your area. Have you heard of any conversations between Douglas County commissioners, DHS, or anything about using Douglas County facilities?
No, from everything I've heard, the majority of the commissioners, I don't know if all, but majority are against it. And the sheriff doesn't have that type of authority to authorize it. So it would have to, from what I understand, it would have to come from the commissioners some type of way to house individuals.
Okay, and as again, not necessarily your level, you're on the state level, but as again, Douglas County is a big part of your constituency, your area. What are your thoughts on just that whole conversation?
I think it's ridiculous. I think one, it was a performative move by the sheriff. He's running for real. He launched his reelection like the same week or something. So, I mean, it's performative because at the end of the day, if you don't got the commissioner's authorization, I don't think it can happen. So
Mm.
it is what it is. I just think it's just politics.
Man, well, on the other side of that though, because yes, although the Douglas County thing, I do agree, it's more show than anything. The McCook facility is undoubtedly moving forward, and that's more than show. And my thought is, if they're building the facilities, if they're already looking at other areas around the state, then they're going to have to fill them at some point. So 287G is on the other side of that. Have you heard any conversations and any thoughts about the possibility of 287G being activated in Nebraska? And for those who don't remember, again, 287G is the program that allows local law enforcement to basically act as ICE agents. What are your thoughts?
I haven't heard anything yet, but as a part of back in August when they announced the whole WEC thing and the transition, there was a mention of using county jails as holding facilities across the state. So I wouldn't be surprised. I would hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised that if some counties maybe in rural parts of the state sign on, uh, just because just the nature of that. But I do know in that announcement they had mentioned using some county facilities. I'm just not sure which kind of county facilities just yet.
Hmm.
Let me jump in here and just let people know it's 8:02 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're now in the second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'm Paul B. He's Buddy the Guy. We're here with Senator Terrell McKinney on the Senator Cypher Monday. Appreciate you joining us this early this morning. We were just in discussing what's going on with this basically this concentration camp that they got going on. Majim Miller Jenkins in the chat is saying, what did he know about the 13 families suing Governor Pillen over the concentration camps? You got any information on those families that the ACLU was helping to sue?
No, I don't know those families. I knew they were some like them and some other groups was working behind the scenes to try to find plaintiffs for the case or whatever. So I'm not aware. I don't know the families or anything like that, but I did know that they were working behind the scenes to file something. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, word. There you go. Right. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody's comments as well. I wanted to jump into the comments, Buddy, unless you wanted to jump on your questions first, because these are kind of going off in a little bit of different direction. I want to make sure that we're staying on track.
No, that pretty much does it for all the questions I had on the what I'm calling the corny clink. Again, the McCook facility, of course. As more answers come out, hopefully you get the unredacted version of the contract soon. But we'll keep our eyes open, and I'm sure as you get more information, you'll let your constituents know. So yeah, I appreciate your responses on that, Senator McKinney. I see Majee Miller Jenkins asking about LB-77. If you want to go that direction, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. In lieu of the child that brought the loaded gun to school for show and tell, this kind of came up that this bill may have been part of the process here. How does the senator feel about his yes vote on LB-77 after the preschool child will be punished and denied education since no safe storage laws can be imposed? We were talking about the storage laws in that bill. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I didn't vote for the bill on final reading. I didn't vote for it. And I think what was lost in any of that conversation is the context of why I even was open to the conversation. The Omaha police were openly saying they didn't want the bill to pass because they wanted to freely target people in North Omaha. So that's why I am, and I ain't gonna change my mind on that. If they come and saying, "Oh, this shouldn't change because we want to target people," you should care too as a black person. As far as the the kid taking the gun to the preschool, that's crazy. I would
Yeah.
definitely don't support that. Definitely don't think that should happen. I'm not sure the how it could happen, honestly. Besides, some adult, carelessly storing a firearm, or maybe putting it in a book bag and forgetting it's in there. And I don't know. I,
Hmm.
I really don't understand. It shouldn't happen. It should have never happened. And I'm glad the kid is safe and all the kids at the facility is safe, as well as the preschool teachers. Does that correlate to LB-77? I don't know, because I remember when I was growing up, kids taking guns to school, and we didn't have LB-77. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Like I can't just pin it on that. Just being honest, like you could make the argument, and you could make the argument. Is the details, the devil's in the details. Because let's say it was an illegal firearm, LB-77 don't change that. Somebody illegally in possession of a firearm that got took to a school, that has nothing to do with LB-77.
So I think that, go ahead.
I'm so that's I'm not saying it didn't exactly have a part, but I'm not sure. I don't know how you correlate it.
So one of the things that's standing out to me is this idea that there were gun storage laws that was wrapped up in that bill. This is something that was kind of new to me too. They loosened the laws in that bill. The laws got loosened to how you're supposed to safely store weapons. Um,
But that
you
was
know,
in cars, and I don't think they got. If I remember right, that was in vehicles. I don't. It wasn't in the house.
mm,
Mm.
okay.
Okay. I also think an important part of this is the fact that and we've talked about this bill specifically on the show. You said what you just said before on this show, but I think the important part to hammer down is the fact that you did not vote yes on this bill. I think that's something that we need to make very, very clear. The fact that you did not vote on this bill, although again you have your reasons for vocalizing support or vocalizing at least opposition to the Omaha Police and their stance on it. Um, it is important to know that you did not directly use your power as a legislator to make this bill a possibility. You did not vote on that. I just want to hammer that down.
No, I wasn't there for final reading on this either. I was, in Omaha actually. So
So
yeah.
there you go. There you go. But the reason that I pulled this when I saw this is just a bigger conversation about gun control in the state of Nebraska, and coupling this with the situation that just happened last week. Last week we didn't really talk about it, but the shooting in West Omaha involving Omaha police, in which a gentleman apparently broke into someone's house. He had a firearm. Omaha police engaged them, and there was, of course, a shooting. The man did not lose his life. But yet here we have another situation where Omaha police is engaging with someone with a firearm, and then of course a firearm at a school. So and coupling all of that with this Trump regime trying to act like all of these democratically ran cities are so violent, I think a bigger conversation about gun control should be had, and not let certain sects of this community or this nation run off with the narrative on that conversation.
Yeah. Senator McKinney, do you see one last thought on this subject about on guns? Do you see uh, you've been really keeping your eye on like what the police is doing in some of these situations with the police and so on? Are you seeing an uptick at all of people getting pulled over or people getting called out because of them having guns? Has been any difference since any of these bills have passed?
I'm not aware of an uptick. I haven't seen any data that shows that. I know the police have stated like they've had more encounters with people with guns during traffic stop or something. But even then, it doesn't say like anything bad happened. It could be more people just saying, "Hey, I got a gun on me." It doesn't say if there's illegal guns or legal guns. It's just, oh, we just during our traffic stops we're seeing more firearms, which I think probably does have a correlation to LB-77 potentially because of just how that bill was crafted. But
Mm.
that doesn't mean there's a difference between saying like there's more illegal guns getting pulled off the streets versus we're during traffic stops, more people are saying, "Hey, I have my firearm on me."
That still could be legal, still could be them following the law, doing all that they need to do.
Yeah. Appreciate that. 809 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're here with Senator Terrell McKinney. For those of you that were waiting on Senator Ashley Spivey, she's out of town, so she informed us that she wouldn't be able to come on today. So we have Brother McKinney here exclusively. And if you guys have any other questions in the chat, please put them in the chat. You can also, when we're not live, put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I did want to address this. I don't know what direction we'll go to here, but Anthony Rogers Wright is asking, can we count on the senator to look into holding a hearing that can lead Nebraska to divesting from the Zionist ethno-state of Israel, similar to what Nebraska did during South Africa apartheid? Yeah, I'll just leave that question there for you.
I mean, I think I don't even know if a hearing was held on that. Maybe it was. I got to look into legislative history. But I mean, a resolution to say don't invest in Israel is what you asking for. That's what I'm assuming. Sure.
So
I mean,
yeah, look at the holding a hearing. Holding a hearing on. I guess the question is what's your thoughts on it before asking would you hold the hearing? What's your thoughts?
Thoughts on? I mean, one, I don't support what's going on in Gaza. I don't think what's going on to the Palestinian people has been right from day one. I saw the other day or yesterday that Israel broke the ceasefire, which is crazy. So I've always thought it was wrong. I don't agree with it. Some of my colleagues have introduced resolutions in support of Israel so I don't support that war. I don't support Israel. I stand with the Palestinian people, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'll look into it. I'm not sure exactly what because if I introduce most resolutions don't have hearings, so I'm not saying that's a guarantee. So
yeah. Brother Anthony Rogers Wright, I definitely would like to hear more at some other time too about how Nebraska is invested in what's going on with Israel. So we can talk about that another time as well. I appreciate your question. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, let's put them in the chat. See if the brother is always open to answering. And what I also appreciate about you too is you're always open to a phone call anytime to talk about anything that's going on. So I appreciate you still staying. Having giving us access. This is the reason why I could never run for senator because the access, bro. I like my privacy, bro. I can't take calls all day and night asking me about can you do something about this pothole over here on the street and all the best of that. So get your questions together and do your research and then hit the brother up. Is there's something else direction we needed to go real quick, buddy, before we let the brother go for today?
Yeah. Kind of rounding off with getting into our conversation with mutual aid today. We talked about the news side of things, but I want to talk about schools. Again, you've been very vocal about OPS specifically, and not being very happy with the outcome of OPS, the direction it's going. And now, under the Trump regime, we're seeing more and more schools kind of feeling the pressure. This being reported out of Tennessee, actually, a Tennessee Rehabilitation Center, where again, students with disabilities were forced off campus. Of course, we know Omaha is having its own issues with funding, especially students with disabilities. Of course, we talked about the special needs programs and OPS being closed down. I don't know how much that has improved since we last talked about it, and just want to get your thoughts on where we're going as far as schools and the state of OPS and how we improve the situation.
Where we're going as far as the state of schools that's a good question. I think that as far as schools, especially in North Omaha, I think we still got a lot of work to do. I still, last year I didn't introduce a bill around education for one reason, because every time I seem to introduce a bill pertaining to education, I'm the crazy person in the room. So last year and before the interim, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were, trying to act as if they were upset with me about how I felt about our education system and what I've said and what I've done. So I was like, well, since I don't have the solutions, y'all got all the solutions. Fix the schools. Like I want to see, because if I'm proactively trying to introduce legislation to improve our school system, um, and y'all feel like it's an issue whether I got a bill passed to prohibit preschool and second graders from getting suspended. That was an issue. Passed a bill to require financial literacy. People really didn't like that. Passed a bill to make sure our kids are taught computer science and technology. They really didn't like that. Passed a bill to make schools put together model hair and dress policies. They really didn't like that. So at the end of the day, you know, I was like, all right, this next session, I'm not even going to touch education on purpose, just to see how whoever these people who they act as if they're advocates and they care about the schools, and the schools are, this sanctuary of things. Are they going to do things to improve the education for our kids? Because you see all these online digital ads, Nebraska has the best schools and all this crap, but schools in my district are not the best, and they haven't been the best my whole life. So I was like, all right, I'm a C, and to date, I still haven't seen anything introduced from anybody on that side that, in my opinion, improves will help improve the educational outcomes of kids in my district. So I'm looking at multiple different bills to try to put some things in place to, number one, catch students, as early as possible when they are, kind of, you know, um, having some situations, whether it's, grades are slipping, coming to school late a bunch of times and those type of things. So I'm looking into something like that to try to put some safeguards in place so a lot of our kids aren't falling out or falling through the cracks. So I like the state education is bad, and then they're cutting special ed funding, which is, well, yeah, they're either cutting it or delaying it. Either way, it's not a good thing, because there's multiple schools in OPS that are at risk of losing their special ed departments anyway, just like what happened like a year or two ago when those special ed programs, I think it was three of them, maybe Skinner, I might be wrong, but it was three schools. And at the beginning of the school year, OPS notified those families, like, you either can keep your kid at this school, but they won't have special ed, or you got to send them across the city. So I know there's multiple schools that are at risk of losing those programs because they don't have enough special ed educators. So it's, and cutting funding doesn't help with that at all. So hopefully, they're able to sustain, but special ed definitely needs attention, especially with special ed educators, because it's a hard job. It's not easy, and getting people, because you need people that care, like, that are teaching special ed. You just don't need to be throwing anybody into special ed classrooms or working with kids who do need extra help. So that's the other part about it too, getting people that care.
The most vulnerable people.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you still a believer in public school? Kind of Wanda Lewis going in the direction also. We've seen the Nebraska again get on the Trump bandwagon with this whole privatized program, even after the people voted against it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I agree with it at all. I don't agree with that process. But there are, and I could be honest, my district was one of like three districts that voted to keep those scholarships.
Mm.
And I think it's because of the failing schools in the district. Like, I think that's why a lot of parents that I've talked to are fed up with OPS. So we have to find a way to improve the public school system in our community overall. Like, I've never stopped saying that, regardless of where I was at on a vote or anything. I always said, like, we still have to fix the public schools. And I think the reason for why a lot of parents that I've talked to, I ain't gonna say all majority, but I mean, a lot of people are fed up with the system because they don't feel like it works for their kids and their families. And it's not just parents just dropping their kids off and leaving. It's active parents I've talked to too. I've seen it both ways.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm really learning about this situation is that it's very location based. Everybody kind of thinks of the school system as being one big system sometimes, but it's really pockets of areas and places and how much money those places get because of real estate taxes and the resources and also when you're hiring teachers for this very hard job, a lot of them want to go other places where it ain't gonna be so hard and other sides of town and so on and so forth. So it's hard to keep talent and especially for like you saying for teachers that are doing like special ed stuff, which have to have a little bit more special training, have to care, and then on top of just being a teacher, not getting paid enough and dealing with and dealing with kids. So I really kind of see that when you're really the only one that speaks up for your district as loud as you are about the failings that are happening when it comes to the school system in this particular area. And I think you probably get a bunch of kickback and feedback or pushback all the time from colleagues that are in different areas that got better situations that don't think anything's wrong. And it's a shame that they can't have the empathy enough to be able to listen to you and hear what's going on in your district and help you change some, get it up to the standard that they feel like they have. It's too bad. So I appreciate your continue on commenting on that, and then in this current climate of what we're talking about with our current administration wanting to privatize education and everything in the first place, how that can be taken in a different direction and kind of mess us up even further if it comes down to it. So I've always thought that you've held that concept. We got to fix the public schools, but we always also need to put together some alternatives for the kids that are being failed by that process. In the meantime, too, we can't just wait to fix the public schools and let them suffer their whole school years. Man. Until then, something else got to happen. So
yeah,
yep.
I agree. The school to prison pipeline is where is it at?
Right.
So we just got to be honest about that. Like, you could still love something and be honest about it. I know, like, people want to just be like, I love it. Don't criticize it. It's like, no, like you should be able to criticize something too. Like, you could love something and still have a critical opinion and feel like it can be better.
I mean, I would argue you don't really love it unless you are holding it to that standard. You know
right.
What I mean? In the chat room, say again.
Just want it to be the best it can be,
Right. Wanda Luce in the chat saying children that are already struggling will have a harder time with the private school selection process. Michelle Miller Jenkins is saying having our schools tied to the property taxes should be illegal because you cannot have equity and equality in school with that as a baseline. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright says it's really tough. I agree with the senator on one hand, but on the outro, it's a slippery slope to vacating and privatizing more public and social programs. I appreciate you guys' thoughts on this.
I agree with that. First, kids get, like, we got to be like, there's option enrollment in this state, and just like you're saying, like, kids would be selected out if they have special needs going to private school. They are being selected out in public schools because of option enrollment. Like, if a kid apply to go to another school district because of option enrollment, at the top of the form is, do you have special needs? Then if you check the kids that check yes, they are getting denied into public school. So the selection process is messed up in both systems for kids that have extra needs. Like, it's not, I hate when people say there's no discrimination in public schools. It is. It's a lot of discrimination. Like, look at the disproportionate amount of black kids being suspended. Right. Look at the disproportionate amount of kids that look like us that are failing. So yes, I agree. And I agree. It definitely is a fine line as far as, like, privatizing things. I don't believe everything should be privatized or nothing like that. My only, where I'm at with it is, okay, do we continue to go through a system and have people continue to tell us it's going to get better? And what evidence do we have that the school system is getting better for kids that look like us? I have no evidence of it. That's my only reason for even just having an honest conversation about it. And primarily it is to get so we can fix the system. If we're not going to fix the system, how are we going to continue to just steer kids down this felon pathway?
Agreed.
That's my thing. It's not that I want things to be privatized or I want all the kids to go to private schools. Really, I want the schools to just be better. I want kids to get a good education by any means necessary, honestly. So that's where I'm at. And if we could fix the public schools, I'm a champion and be all for. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But if we can't, just from just a survival just stance, we got to look at all options. Like our people are on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And what's our future if they're not educated?
Man, you travel a lot. Have you seen any other situations, any other systems built beyond just the private public dichotomy? Like, have you seen any other communities that have a thriving homeschooling community or have I don't even know what other options there are, online school? I don't know. What have you seen any other options?
I mean, I think it's hit or miss everywhere, to be honest. I've been to places that got the same issues as us. It's just bigger cities. But I guess the difference in those cities, they got private schools and charters and all that type of stuff. And some of them are good and some of them are bad. I don't think there's a one silver bullet that says this system works the best, because even in the states that are deemed as having like the best education systems, when you look at communities similar to us, kids are failing too. So I'm not sure what the solution is, honestly. I think ending white supremacy and racism and all of these systems is the solution.
Right. I appreciate that. With that, that's a drop the mic moment there for real, man. I want to go ahead and let you go. I appreciate you coming through. Just got a text from Senator Ashley Spivey that was apologizing for not being able to be on today. Her little one ain't feeling good, so yeah, thoughts out to her family on that. But what you want to leave us with, man? Last words before you go ahead and get out of here for today. What you thinking we need to be doing?
I mean, I think we need to, number one, start planning for the worst. Just keep it real. A lot of things are not going great. A lot of things are happening, and we're just it's a lot of reactionary things going on. So I think, for me, one thing I've been thinking about is how can we get ahead of some of what's happening to us so we can be ready. I'm not saying we'll know everything that'll happen, but I think as a community, as a people, we should be more prepared for, a potential, bad situation coming up. These food stamp cuts, them potentially not releasing, food stamps in November is going to be an issue. Then down the line, when you think about other, social services that are on the chopping block, you think about Medicaid, you think about Section 8. If they take that all away, are we prepared?
Man.
And if we're not, then we gotta prepare for that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Appreciate that. We on the same page. We talking about it all the time on this show too, man. It's time for some action. We got to do something to shore up what we need in this. What we were talking about before. Mutual aid is really coming up a lot right now for us, and you can learn a lot of how to do that from our community. Black folks have been taking care of each other in that way for a long time. So, somebody sleeping on somebody's couch if they have to, or whatever has to happen. So I like this idea of becoming prepared. We gonna hope for the best, but also prepare for the worst is what we do. So it's got to happen that way. So I appreciate y'all.
Sure.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Peace. All right. Man. Always a pleasure to talk to the brother, man. Yeah.
He said it though. He said it, and that's kind of where the last 30 minutes of this show, where I want to stay, as far as the realities that we're facing. And yeah, man, Guys, it's time for some action. Got to figure something out. Got to start planning and get out of this reactionary. Hey, it's time. It's time to get busy.
Time to get busy. We'll take a quick break and come back in and finish out the show. I see the comments, so we'll get to the comments in a minute too. Appreciate you guys sticking around, and appreciate your great questions and comments for our guest. We'll be right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hall B, Buddy the God. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It's Buddy's Migos comeback track right there.
Hey,
Called the Migos yet? Tell them you got something for them.
Man, yeah. Reach out to P and them.
Appreciate you guys coming on back in 8:31. If you believe in the concept of time, we got a little bit about a half hour left in the show, and we definitely have a theme that we're going to continue to talk about here. You guys are talking about in the chat, and we also got some articles to back up some of these things. What's next on the agenda, buddy? How are we continuing on here?
Yeah, man. Talking about this situation that we all find ourselves in, man. Trying to get out as we see the walls closing in. Just about every day, it seems like a new encroachment on liberties, on rights, on life in America as we know it. And rather than getting into the doom and gloom and fear, which I do think a lot of what we saw over the weekend as far as the No Kings rally is a response, is a reactionary situation, as you see, again, thousands of Omahans alone making their way out into the streets to protest, to have their voices heard. But again, we've been talking about it. This is nothing new, especially to marginalized communities, quote unquote communities of color. We've been doing this. We've been through this. Of course, talking about mutual aid, the whole Black Panther Party for defense. That's all it was. That's it. that's all it was. So again, we're not necessarily new to this. We're true to this, and we have to not reinvent the wheel, but just get busy. Is the conversation where I want to go with this, and the fact that there is some things going on that we should stay aware of, and I do kind of feel the sentiment as far as the idea behind No Kings being a controlled opposition is kind of a lot of the conversation that's going out. And while there were some fiery speeches, we're going to get into what Chicago Mayor Brandon had to say. Also, I don't know if any of you caught, Bernie Sanders and his fiery speech that he had during the No Kings rally. But I like where a lot of us are going as far as the conversation of real plans, real substantial change, and really preparing and talking about unplugging from this matrix. Again, almost every single turn, really, every single industry is showing their ugly head. Of course, it's been reported that Spotify is now politicizing itself, declining to spread ICE recruitment messages, or not declining not to. So they're going to continue spreading these ICE recruitment messages. Kind of the similar situation actually as I flew into Omaha on Friday. I was in St. Louis just waiting for the message to come through the airport. I don't know if any of you have heard it, but airports across the nation are being asked, almost required, to have this message playing of Homeland Security, basically blaming the Democrats for what's going on as far as this video shutdown. And shout out to Nebraska Examiner and Juan Salinas, who is reporting that Nebraska's two largest airports, of course, Omaha's Eppley Airfield, and Lincoln's airfield are actually electing not to play the video, which is kudos to them. Good decision in this respect. But again, we're seeing just the Trumpism making its way into almost all aspects of our life, kind of in a way we haven't seen before. And again, the big question is, what are we going to do about it? And hopefully, we can be wise enough to stick together with this. I think Senator McKinney is head on as far as what we might be up against in the near future. You start taking away people's ability to house themselves, people's ability to feed themselves, and people's ability to heal themselves, or at least get the help that they need. People turn quickly on each other. So again, this idea of mutual aid is us together. How do we get through this? Because I'm sure the powers that be would love to see us rip each other apart.
Yeah. I hear that. Anthony Rogers Wright has some interesting comments in here. He's in the chat. I'll pull him up. It says, we don't know and exercise the 3 key elements of mutual aid. We run the risk of co-optation and ineffectiveness. The number one, he says, mutual aid projects work to meet survival needs and build shared understanding about why people do not have what they need. Number 2, he's saying mutual aid projects mobilize people, expand solidarity, and build movements. And number 3, mutual aid projects are participatory, solving problems through collective action rather than waiting for saviors. Very interesting as well. Appreciate those things too. Also, Magic Miller Jenkins says, get me on there for a very brief mutual aid training so we can know exactly what mutual aid means. We definitely are going to schedule on to have you come on and talk about it too, for sure. We appreciate that very much. But yeah, this is some interesting steps here. These 1, 2, 3 steps that Anthony Rogers Wright in the chat is talking about. What this all entails. What do you think about that, buddy?
It's needed, and this is the direction that obviously we have to go, not just on the show, but as a society, because the calls for radical change are coming out, and we're seeing the impacts. And it's not just it's across the board, man. And in order to actually do the thing, like, let's really talk about what it means to get busy and create change, and not just have performative no kings rallies. Like, how do we actually create the change that got us in this position? Let's just be honest. We don't just get here overnight. There's some people that have to be asleep on their positions in order for us to get here. So let's accept that fact first. And I kind of mentioned, I don't know if it was last episode, but just the idea of what it means to be an American is antithetical to this whole waiting for a savior idea. Like, you have to save yourself. You have to have your voice heard. You have to go to the poll. You have to make phone calls, you have to do that. Because if you don't, this is what we get. And I think now people are understanding our power. But again, the whole issue is the American public can't flex its power alone. This whole idea of rugged individualism and being spread out, that is what the powers that be want. And again, one of the big calls, one of the big news stories from over the weekend, of course, was the call from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who, according to the Huffington Post, ups the ante as he calls for a general strike. Again, in an audacious proposal, as the article reads, given that the U.S. has never held a true nationwide general strike, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson boldly called for Americans to stage a general strike during the No Kings rally, summoning people of all backgrounds to unite and take a stand against President Donald Trump's quote-unquote tyranny and the ultra-wealthy and corporate greed. Of course, at the top of what's going on are the oligarchs and the MAGA bros and the broligarchs, I think, as they're being called. These billionaires and trillionaires who have no idea what it's like to be in our shoes. And I think what people are realizing is something that I've been saying a long time, is that racism is only a distraction to distract poor white people from the fact that the wealthy are robbing them. You might be poor, but at least you ain't black. And I think even that is not enough anymore. People are tired of being poor, whether
Mm.
you're white, black, or indifferent.
I mean,
People
poor,
are
poor,
tired.
poor don't just mean poor no more. Poor means death.
That part. But again, if we're going to fight, how are we going to do it? And fight non-violently too. I think that is a part that we have to be very, very strategic and mindful about saying when we're having these conversations, because they are listening.
Mm.
FBI agents are popping up on content creators' doorsteps. I'm seeing more and more reports of this.
Oh,
They are
absolutely.
listening.
Yep.
Trump is on this whole domestic terrorist kick.
Monitoring spirits. That's what we call them.
Yeah,
Hello.
man.
Hi, monitoring spirits.
So again, if people are going to answer the call from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson to actually walk off the job, to not go to work, to strike and not pay for these services, how are we going to supplement it? It's not enough to just walk off the job and not go to the. We got to learn from the past. They didn't just stop riding the buses.
They didn't just stop going to work because they couldn't catch the bus. They arranged carpools. Jitney was born from it. It has me thinking about a general strike is something that came up in a previous show. I think it was Anthony Rogers Wright that brought it up one time, but I had never. I mean, I've heard the phrase before, but really thinking about examples that I know of, didn't really know. Anthony Rogers Wright in the chat is saying we kind of had a general strike in this country in 1946 when 5 million workers withheld their labor from the corporations. I'm just thinking about how many people a general strike would entail. Whole lot more than we've seen in any other strike. And when we think of strikes, we think of people striking, Amazon workers striking Amazon, or, the railroad people were striking at one point, Union Pacific. General strike is when everybody in every industry is going against all corporation. That's everybody striking. If you want, what he's calling for is hands off. I mean, you can see that's his slogan here: hands off Chicago. If he's calling for a general strike in Chicago, what does that actually mean? It means everybody in Chicago stop working. Everybody in Chicago put the brakes on. I'd love to dig into, me, like it sounds great, but give me the logistics. I want to know exactly what that means and how that exactly works. And when we talk about what do we need to do in order to supplement ourselves while the strike is going on, I need them logistics too. I need to hear about that.
I think the interesting part of this is the reality of it all. And the fact that the American public, it had to come to this for the American public to even have this conversation. Because let's be honest, with or without a Trump, have people's needs really been getting met anyway?
I mean, for real.
Whether we go to work or not, are our needs getting met? So again, I ask this question on the show all the time, but what the hell are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
As a society, as an American people, what are we doing? Because it's going to work to pay taxes, to go to work, to pay for a house I can't afford to go to work is not working.
Yeah, it hasn't been. We'd have to take that conversation up to another level of the capitalism conversation if we want to start thinking about some of those things.
Well,
you asked what, as American people, what do we do? We also have some examples. Even recently, they just did 3 general strikes in Italy to stand up to Palestine. There's some definitely some things that's going on around the world. This one is striking me right here. The Yellow Vests strike in France about 6 years ago shut the entire country down. You remember that we got a Yellow Vest homeboy in the First Sky Omaha camp, in the Mine and Soul camp, that is now in the States because the trouble that he caused as a Yellow Vest.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Shout out to I don't know if I want to say his name on here.
Right.
But we were partnered with another international radio station, and that's what happened there. So there you go. There's a lot of different examples of what that could look like. He says what those countries have that we don't are actual labor groups that are not tied to political parties and are tied to workers. Yeah, we're the actual worker groups.
Yeah, I forgot about the farmers in France spraying the poop on.
Dang. I don't know if I heard about that one. Maybe I put that out of my mind.
Yeah, farmers in France, they took their fecal matter from their farms, and rather than spraying them on as fertilizer, they sprayed them on government buildings in protest. Yeah,
Now there's
man.
protests and there's protests.
Yeah, I'm not
Welcome,
sure if I'm,
welcome,
suggesting that.
welcome to Solutions Journalism here on First Sky Omaha. Save your poop. It's going down. Anthony Rogers White says, "That's it, buddy. It is irresponsible to put this all on Trump and not discuss the larger system. When we need to be strategic, not liberal reactionaries. For real,
I
for
mean,
real."
yeah, I mean, there's a whole source of communities that we can argue that this system, this government has never worked for. And again, as I said, mutual aid has always been the only saving salvation. Whether we're talking about sharing sugar with your neighbors, allowing neighbors to babysit for you, rent parties, um, borrowing bread. Let me borrow your car. I mean, come on now. We talk about the housing hookup we all have to get in order to get in. I mean, is there anything that works for us that isn't a product of mutual aid?
That's real. Let me hold $5.
Man, let me
We even got a whole language built around it, bro.
come on, man. So yeah, we ain't new to this. We true to this. So yeah, let's not try to reinvent the wheel, man. Let's look at what works and come together and make it happen.
Yeah, it's going down. Let's take a quick break. It's 8:46 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. We're gonna finish out the show here pretty. This last 15 minutes of the show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back and jump back into it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits.
Man.
Appreciate you joining the show. Do us a favor, share the show. You don't have to wait till the show is live in order to share it. You can share it after the show is over as well on your Facebook page, especially, so we can make sure that as many people see the conversation as possible. And also, if you're on YouTube, do us a favor and share the link to anybody who you think might be interested in checking out some of these interviews and conversations that we're having as well. And everybody who's a chat chimer who's in the chat, appreciate all of your comments, your questions, and your expressions as well. And also over there on Facebook, the chat goes off. Also on YouTube, the chat goes off of 2 places that we broadcast live. And when we're not live, you can definitely go to Friends of First Sky Omaha on the Facebook group and be on the lookout for some of those things too. Also, I got to mention, be on the lookout for the weekly wrap, because a lot of the things that we're going to be changing, we're going to announce first on the weekly wrap. Because that goes directly to everybody's email, and we'd rather do that just in case the algorithm stops us from spreading messages to everybody who needs to hear it. So if you haven't signed up for that, there's the link. Please go ahead and sign up for the weekly wrap, and be looking out for some of these announcements. We are going to make some changes. We've been working on a different place to have the conversation when we're not live. Besides the Friends of First Sky Omaha group page, because we know a lot of you are not on Meta anymore now as well. So, okay, looks like my chat is down. Something's going on here with the tech again, of course.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Few people popping in the chat. Her Bean MD in the chat saying Grand Rising, everyone. So top of the morning to you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. A few other chats. G. Miller Jenkins says because they are rallies, not protests, the labeling is wrong. Talking about the No Kings. Okay.
Right. That's where we're. Yep, that's exactly what some of the problem is there. So, and that's the message that I've been getting too. It's not just it's not a protest because there is, and the reason why is because no demands are being made. So again, I think that's part of the situation. The situation is if you're gonna march, if you're gonna rally, then you're rallying in order for some demands to be set there for people to have to get their feet held to the fire. And if there's no demands, then it's really just a show. It's really just, as a matter of fact, they're even calling it like a pressure release. Everybody, all this stuff is building up, and it can be viewed as counteractive to the fight when you are going to have this kind of sanctioned. You're allowing people to be on the street. I remember everybody saying, make sure that you can be on the sidewalks. If you're in the street, that's when you can get arrested. So, and the police and everybody's going to come out and make sure everybody walks orderly down the sidewalk. It's not a protest.
The fact that it was even on a Saturday, everybody just happened to be off work. I mean, like, where's the disruption? Where is the disruption, the discomfort that's supposed to create change, man? And quite honestly, I wonder how much of a distraction it was from the real stunt that happened over the weekend in the Supreme Court. We got to talk about that before we get out of here, because while millions of Americans were vocalizing their concerns, having their voices heard in the streets, their voices were possibly being taken in the voting booths. Again, I don't know how many of us have talked about it, heard about it, but again, while the No Kings rally was going on, the U.S. Supreme Court was pushing the Voting Rights Act towards near death. That's according to Reuters, who reports, again, Voting Rights Act faces near-death experience at U.S. Supreme Court as we approach the midterms. How this nation votes and how this nation's votes are grouped can radically change within the next couple of months. Reuters reports the court is expected to rule in the coming months in a case argued last Wednesday concerning a map delineating U.S. House Representatives districts in Louisiana. The conservative justices signaled they could undercut the law's second section, which bars voting maps that will result in diluting the voting power of minorities, even without direct proof of racist intent, all but legalizing gerrymandering in this nation. So again, looks like the Trump regime, the Trump campaign, the Trump administration moving closer towards that promise of Trump being the last elected official. So I don't even know what more to say, man, beyond that. I mean, again, race-based gerrymandering could possibly be legalized with this in the next few months. And who's to say what that changes, especially I will remind you that Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen already said that he is open to the idea of redrawing legislative districts even beyond the 10-year window or process that Nebraska usually goes through. Again, we just went through a whole census situation. We just redrew our districts, and yet the timing is very peculiar on Pillen saying that he is open to redistricting yet again.
I can't read the chat right now, but what say you in the chat? We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this and how you're feeling. It's very concerning. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the chat is definitely chiming up. Majee Miller Jenkins saying people should be scared for 2028, which will be the next election. She's also saying Pillen is up for election, kind of reminding us of the 6 to dismiss. Pillen is on that list as we prepare for midterm elections. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright is talking about the GOP move from this, saying the GOP are poised to gain 19 seats on that ruling. So again, if this ruling does go down through the Supreme Court, Trumpism gets another leg in the race, man.
That's tough.
Yeah. Man. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright says the Congressional Black Caucus is about to lose 33% of its seats in the House.
We talked a little bit earlier about NBC News laying off a bunch of reporters, and we didn't really stress about, most of them are black and brown reporters. Most of them are covering certain demographics, and it's really crazy. It wasn't just we got a little wind of this a little earlier on when Lester Holt. Remember when Lester Holt left, man, and Joy Reid got fired, and then it's My man Che over there on Saturday Night Live was like, "Am I the next black anchor to get canned from NBC?" And then of course now we're looking at this, all these different layoffs. So even in when I'm thinking about like what to do and how to get these things reported, we know how newsrooms work. A lot of these people are in there saying this is a big deal for our people. We kind of need to say something about it. And if they at the same time they're systematically moving people away that would not make it a priority to tell, it just makes it more of a situation that, when we say, what are we doing? Well, this is part of it. Our strategic communication has to be up front and foremost as well, because who's going to even let us know about what's going on here with this information? It's crazy where we're at.
Man,
Where we're at.
man. And again, just reinvigorates the reason why we're doing the work that we're doing and trying to, again, give a voice to the voices, because you see those voices are being taken by the day. But, I am curious to see what this means for those journalists. Do they go on to create their own platforms, or are they now, inspired to really speak up in ways that they might have been not able to speak up at, your major outlets like NBC, ABC? I am curious to see, how they respond to being let go in this manner. But you see it. This is a slippery slope, and couple that with what happened with the Pentagon, not being only one outlet reporting on the Pentagon, we not really knowing what's going on with our government. So even now, support as many local outlets, support as many independent news outlets as you can, not just ours, but those who are speaking truth to power, because you see the direction it's going, man.
Big time.
Act accordingly.
4 minutes left. I just saw a quote that Mark Manor, shout out to Mark Manor. You guys know him. He's friend of First Guy Omaha, Chad Chimer. On his personal page, he said, "I have a feeling that like this coming late fall and winter are going to be harder on people economically, mentally, and I think physically also. We no longer exist in a country that we can count on for anything except making lives worse to benefit a few. It's important for us to be there for each other and support the good things in our communities, making a positive impact while they still can. Help people, not isolate. Help people, not isolate. It's the natural move when things look bleak, but not a good one. Get out and enjoy the fall. Kick some leaves."
Yeah, man. I can't help but to echo that same feeling that this is looking like it's going towards being a long winter.
And I like what he says about here, just the tendency to isolate when things get bad, and this is kind of not the time to do that. It's kind of really the time to kind of check on each other. Use this show. Use the show. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no matter what, no matter traveling, no matter sick. We're here. We kind of made a decision a long time ago that the show is the thing, and we're gonna do it. And, it's gonna be some unforeseen occurrences will happen from time to time, but for the most part, we're gonna consistently be here. We can kind of use this to check in on each other. I got people that family members out of town that if I don't see them on the show that morning, I'm gonna be calling them that afternoon. It's just a way to use the show as a way for us to kind of check in with each other. We can even do more. This show's format is pretty loose. We're definitely going to talk about the issues and things first hour. Second hour, we're going to definitely be having more conversation about those things, and also, ways to check in with the community. This is not just, even though we have people that listen from all around the world, we still are very hyper local when it comes to that. We can right away say, we got some issues that are happening right now in our community, like Brother Ricky Smith is in a little bit of trouble and we need to help him out. And so here is the GoFundMe for that. Please hit that. Please donate whatever you can, $5 here, $5 there, whatever you can do, because somebody in our community needs some help. And we want to try to do that for everybody in our community that needs something as much as we can. So, it's not going to be the solution, but it can help. So I highly suggest, use the show, keep the spirit of the show by contacting each other and being there for each other and checking in on each other. Get together, live alive, definitely get down with some of the things that people are doing. Shout out to Tamika Renee, Sister Tamika Renee. Shout out to Brother Kasim, BAA. Shout out to Pastor Ballard, Assembly of the Saints.
Man,
people that got put places and spaces for us to come, rally, gather. Shout out to what Sherman Wells just did with 20 weeks of summer, where every week families got fed, not just people that showed up to the thing, but people surrounding the area, families that were living around Assembly of the Saints got to walk over and have dinner.
Man.
Feeding people, helping people. Shout out to Kenny McMorris, all the work that he's doing over there at Charles Drew. Shout out to everybody that is trying to help with food, housing, shelter, health, and just general well-being, and also the spiritual soldiers as well, man. Shout out to the Jewel Rogers. Shout out
Man.
to Marcy Yates. Shout out to Michelle and Felicia with the verbal gumbo that fills everybody's spirit that they keep doing every year. Shout out to Brent Crampton, those guys doing the Daybreakers party. Making sure that everybody can get together and dance it out in community. So we got a lot, and we're going to continue to do that too. And again, I really appreciate everybody that came to our situation as well over there at the press club just Saturday, where we got to acknowledge everybody who we consider doing the work. Not even everybody. There's so many people that we want to acknowledge that we had to pare it down, make some choices. But because we know we're going to do this every year, we'll get to everybody eventually. But we just want to give a shout out to everybody who came, who understands why we're doing what we're doing. And, a lot of people have these rallies and have these award ceremonies and have these fundraisers. But how many people are having these things, making sure that we're all in community with each other too, using it as a live alive with one another platform for us to be able to get together and meet each other, get each other's names, numbers, and really start taking care of each other in that way too. You got your media circles with your families. You got your circles with your friends. You maybe have your coworkers that are like your family as well. But using this digital platform, we also have family that's spread out all over the metro, Omaha, and in Lincoln, and in different places that we care about as well. We got Pops out in Vegas. You know that he's in town. Everybody gonna be caring about him as if he's your neighbor because we're trying to build that here on the show. Mm-hmm. So take a look around. Be nice to each other. Speak nice to each other. We can all disagree, but this is the reason why we insist on no name calling. Speak well. Because we're out here building community, man. You can't do that by cutting people down, arguing, and going through a bunch of mess in a violent, ugly way. Like, just figure out a way to disagree with somebody who you gonna talk to again later, and maybe have to care for them. You may have to go stay on their couch when something happens to your house. Man. You can stay with people you disagree with because you guys know how to disagree and still have some honor with each other. So. When it comes down to it, man, it's all about living. That's what we got to do.
That part. We all we got, but that's enough.
That is enough. And that's enough of this show. We're going to get on out of here. It's 9:01. If you believe in the concept of time and you live in Omaha, Nebraska, shout out to you, man. Safe travels. Shout out to everybody who is who's out here right now doing what they do. Check on your loved ones. It's getting cold out. Check on them heaters. Check on them filters. All that good stuff, man. Any last words, buddy?
Yeah, man. Again, thank you to Senator Terrell McKinney for taking the time out of his morning to come join us, give us some more information, some more insight on what's going on. And again, catch us every Monday for the Senator Cyphers. Of course, every other Monday we have Senator Terrell McKinney and Ashley Spivey come through. But we're still working on getting the others, man. We still got to get Brother Roundtree on up through here. Senator Megan Hunt, she just released a statement on the corny clink. You might want to check that out. She's very active. And again, if you have a representative that you would like to see, come on the show, answer a few questions, let us know. That's what we're here for, man. So again, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully we get your support in the meantime. Between time, you take care of each other. Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away, man.
Man, I lost the chat, but I'm sure that you guys are wishing us the best. We wish you the best as well. We appreciate everybody that joined us today. Shout out to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We really appreciate all your comments and your respect for our guests as well, and the way that we can kind of get down to some actionable items. We really appreciate it, and all the things that we're learning too. Thank you so much for the ones in the chat right now that know more about mutual aid than us, so that you can inform us, and we'll definitely keep talking about that. Thank you. And also for everybody's perspective as well. I always enjoy when like Wanda Lewis chimes up and talks about her perspective, especially when it comes to infrastructure, because she's been working in the industry and she's telling us stuff we don't know. We get this all the time. We get this is not just for dissemination of information. It's also for gathering information and for learning and education as well. And I absolutely learn a lot over the course of doing this with you guys. So thank you. I really appreciate that. It's been my education just to keep on having these conversations. So let's all, look out for each other as well in real life, and not just use this platform as some virtual weird world, but as an introduction for us to be able to do that. So get your poop ready. Apparently we're going to be spraying it on stuff. Protest. Shout out to the French. Yeah. With that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We really appreciate you joining us today. You guys take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Peace. Okay. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Problems.
Yeah. Well, while we're still here, just a quick comment.
Okay.
The poop protest might be apropos for the nitrates in the water. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Pillin's Poopy Pig Farm. I'm just saying.
Hey, maybe he can sell some of that to us. We can
Maybe
offload a little bit of waste. Throw back on them. Yeah. Sorry about all this, bro. I don't even know. Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Yeah. Oh wait, let's try this one.
By the way, Van Glorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green.